Hey guys, welcome back to another style in CSS tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be explaining how the nth child pseudo element works, pseudo selector, and how to use it effectively in CSS. So nth child is a very common pseudo selector, but it's also a bit more challenging than regular ones, which is why I've dedicated an entire video to it. So if we go over to here, let's go over to here, and yeah, you might have seen it. I'll just replicate it so you understand what it is. But let's say we're targeting all divs here. If we just go to nth child, you'll see it's actually a bit different from regular pseudo elements. Like if I go to the before pseudo element, you'll see there's no brackets here. So basically the nth child pseudo element actually takes in a parameter or argument n as one of its values. So what I'm going to do to demonstrate what this does is it basically allows you to target certain elements in a certain pattern. So let me create an unordered list to show this pattern more clearly. So let's create a list element, give it a class of item, we'll just say element 1, just do like 5 of these, like so, and let's target these items with the nth child pseudo selector. So basically nth child is a pseudo selector which allows you to select or customize style these elements of these lists, or it doesn't have to be a list, but it can just be a sequence of elements, and it allows you to style them selectively. So it takes in this parameter n, which starts at 0 and then iterates until it reaches the number of elements it's targeting. So in this case it's targeting all elements of class item. So there's 5 elements with class item, so it's going to start from 0 and it's actually going to go till 4, since it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is actually 5. But yeah, one thing you should realize is CSS, like HTML indexing, starts from 1. So what I mean by that is n, if you imagine this as a function, this is going to be executed 5 times, with each time n gets incremented by 1. So it's going to go n is 0, n is 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. That's how many times this function is going to run. However, these elements, these will have a different index. So the element index, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And you'll notice I'm not too sure how this works. I believe it actually just adds an extra 1 onto n, so n actually increments 1 extra time just so it can get all of these. But yeah, it's just important to know that, because then it allows us to understand what's happening. So anyways, if we just leave n as it is in here without doing anything, then we don't actually use this in the actual styling, but you'll see it's going to target all of these elements. So let's just say we make the color of them blue. Then you'll see it just targets every single element and it's making them blue. Let's also change the font size of the targeted elements so you can clearly see which one is better, and also let's make it bold. Okay, yeah. So now what I'm going to do is demonstrate how to target only the even or odd numbers. So to target the even numbers, if we do 2n, if we imagine what's going to happen here, when n is 0, it's going to be the 0 of elements, since 2n is still 0, but there's actually no 0 of elements since they start from 1. So we'll move on to n is 1, that's going to give us the second element, which is this one, so element 2 will be activated. Then when n is 2, we're going to get the fourth element, which is element 4. n is 3, we're going to get a sixth element, but there's no sixth element, so yeah, we're just going to get 2 and we're going to get 4. So if we do this, that is exactly what we get. I'm just going to remove these just so it's a bit clearer. But yeah, now you can see we've selectively targeted those. And again, if we wanted to do the odd ones, we could just either do +1 or -1. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, so now if we imagine it again, 0, the element we're targeting is going to be 1, 1 element we're targeting is going to be 3, 2 element we're targeting is going to be 5, and then the rest don't exist. So yeah, now you can see these ones are activated as well. So yeah, that's pretty much very useful. You can use it to target other things as well, like if you want to do every fourth element, then it's just going to go like this. Obviously we don't have any other fourth elements, but if I add more, you'll see that they repeat like this. So yeah, that's quite useful, and it's used if you want to, like, mainly when people are trying to avoid JavaScript, because once you start adding JavaScript, your CSS and HTML become a lot more complicated, so you usually want to try and avoid JavaScript as much as possible until it just becomes impractical. So yeah, that's basically it. What you can actually do as well is there's different types. If I go to another pseudo element, if we were to target a different nth child with a different selector, let's just see what happens when we do this. So we have every fourth element here, and then let's do every odd element like this, and you can see they kind of layer on top of each other, which is really useful, because obviously you can imagine, like, you could layer a lot of these on top of each other and get some pretty cool effects. So yeah, another thing you should know is you can be a bit more specific. Like, of course here we're only targeting item classes, but we could do some other things, like if we want to do something specifically inside of a like div, then this would still work. It's basically just another regular pseudo element, apart from having a bit more of a unique sort of purpose. But yeah, thanks for watching. That was how you use the nth child pseudo selector in CSS. See you guys in a future tutorial. Bye.